How's it going, guys? If you haven't already seen the previous parts to this particular tutorial series, I really recommend you go check them out. I teach a lot of cool tips and tricks for building these types of houses, and honestly, it's a really difficult house, so you might not be able to get along without those previous parts. So I really recommend you go check them out before you watch this. There's a annotation on the screen, hopefully right now, and there should be one at the end for the next part as well. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you do. Let's go right ahead and get on with the tutorial. Alright, so what we're going to do for part 3 is pretty much finish off the build. I'm not going to do the interior in this particular Let's Play, or Let's Build, I guess, just because it's something I haven't really done yet, and I'd rather not waste your time with me just trying to build something nifty. But what we're going to be doing is the exterior. This will include pathways and just kind of shrubbery around the place, and I'll give you a few tips on how to kind of maintain the look and not go overboard with the leaves, which is something a lot of people do. But we're going to start by adding the door just kind of inwards like that. That way we can modify this block without having to break the door down again. And you might notice I have a shovel in my hand. Now this particular pathway that is going to match this house uses 1.9's path feature, but you don't have to do that. I promise it looks fine without it. I'm just doing it since it's there. And for the pathway, we are going to use birch leaves. We're going to use the coarse dirt, hardened clay, just the plain hardened clay. This is the jungle wood, and then these selections of foraging, or forage something, whatever it is. Foliage, that's it. That's what I've been thinking. I don't know, I've been playing Stardew Valley too much. But basically the azure bluette, I don't know how to say it, and then the tall grass, double tall grass, and a fern. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do first is get our coarse dirt and just kind of play around with a direction. So what I'm going to do is curve this around this way, or maybe we could do it, we'll do it that way, definitely. So basically start with just a 3 wide block pattern and kind of curve it around and just place random blocks. Like, you can change this up later and it'll look all fine. And there's actually one more thing I forgot to do in the last part. So if you decided to watch part 3, then lucky you, you're going to get one more feature on the house. And hopefully it'll make your, house look a little bit different from anyone else's who's decided to watch this tutorial. It'll look pretty good too. It's one of my favorite features. So I'm just going to go about to there with the pathway. Maybe it would go up or connect to the city, like roads or something. I don't know. It's completely up to you. The point of this is just to kind of show you the style that I would use with this particular house. But we're starting with the pathway, and then we'll kind of go with the actual details around the house. So next, we're going to kind of line it with just a tad bit of coarse blocks or path blocks just along the edges and along the inside, kind of not like overboard, but just enough to where it's noticeable. And we're going to go ahead and get our hardened clay. I always put this on the outside. You can take away the coarse blocks that you've already placed if you want. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you notice it and it's there. Maybe do a little bit more than, like just a few, but just place them around the area and kind of detail that. And then to match that, we're going to get some jungle wood, and this is just random. It doesn't have to be on the outside, it can be on the inside, just in complete random patterns. So about like that. And you'll notice it gets a little bit bigger there, so maybe add a little bit more on this side, on this particular curve, so it matches. I'll just kind of play with this like that or something, with course there, or maybe there, and then here we could put the course. Yeah, like that. Okay, now it looks really plain, it looks basic, and it looks like there could be much more done to it. It looks very empty right now. Let me fix this. But what you do to fix that is get a few birch saplings or leaves or whatever. I live streamed for 4 hours today, so you'll have to pardon any stuttering I have. But you're just gonna line it with just a little bit of bushes, not too much. Don't go crazy. This really adds to kind of the support of the actual path, and maybe you could even sink them down if you really wanted to. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It kind of fits the style, but it's not necessary. I'll do it in this case just as an example. And one thing I kind of like to do, this is really weird, but I feel like it adds to it. You could even put torches on top of this. Put like a few fences around the bushes. It looks like a stem or something, and it just kind of adds to it. I don't know why, but I really like the way that looks. The next thing we're going to do is go around the edge here, and this is a really difficult part. This is where a lot of builders mess up and do a very bad job when it comes to leaves. You can seriously make or break a build with leaves. Now, what you don't want to do is go all the way up to the top with your leaves and just have them all the way up to the roof. That's the biggest thing I've seen in terms of issues. A lot of people think you have to put it all the way up to the top of the building, and it just ruins it. You gotta just stay subtle with it. Don't do it too much. Now, you can do it a little bit, like here I do want to kind of build it up to where you could like see it up there, but nothing higher than that. And don't be afraid, like you don't have to connect them all. As you can see, I just broke a block to put that there. Make it look like it's growing into it a little bit, but not too much. And kind of avoid putting them around the furnace, even though I'm doing just that. Just because you don't want it to like look like it's gonna burn everything down. Then we'll put one there. Don't go overboard, but definitely do not be afraid to be generous. That's pretty much the easiest way to do it. And like, again, these are supposed to look like vines, so they don't have to connect. They can kind of float if they want. It's totally fine. And then on this one, I'm just going to do that. Very simple. And actually, we're going to get rid of this entirely. So this is the feature that I was saying you guys should feel lucky if you checked part 3 and no one else did, then you get to see a little extra feature. So what we're going to do is add 2 little cobblestone walls about there. Then we're going to get some wooden half slabs, just the oak ones. And we're going to basically do that followed by that with one on the top. Bring the fences all the way up, and there you have a little like drying shack. It's like something you would hide under there, or it's like a little overhang that would protect certain things from getting wet from the rain. Or maybe you could even use it as a sitting area, and I don't know, something like that. So you could put the door there if you wanted. That would work as well. But it's just like a nice little quaint feature that brings the roof down to that level and looks good overall. What I usually do to kind of fit this style is I get hay blocks or hay bales and just put it under there so it looks like it's trying to be, you know, kept dry, and it kind of works. I don't know, I really like how that looks under there. It seems perfect to me, and again, this is just to keep it dry, and I think that adds so much to it, so much character too. But that is pretty much it. I may bring that one up to there. And yeah, so you can see none of them are up in the roof, and it's clean. Like if we put them up in the roof plus this messiness, it would look like it's abandoned, and we don't want that. Now, I'm not going to do the interior as I said before, just because I haven't done anything yet with it, and I feel like it would just expand the tutorial way farther than it needed to be. Extend it, I guess, not expand. But that is pretty much how you build a medieval, like steampunk house. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this tutorial series. It's much different from what I'm used to. I seriously do not usually do stuff like this. But I don't know. I'd like to in the future. It's really fun. I've been practicing a lot with it lately. But anyways, guys, I have tons of tutorials on my channel. Feel free to check them out. A lot of like interior tutorials. So since I'm not doing one on this, I encourage you to go watch those tutorials. Learn a few things about interior if you don't know any already. And maybe send me a photo on Twitter of the interior that you did for your build. I don't know. And if you built it at all, send it to me on Twitter. I'd love to see it. Anyways, guys, thumbs up are always appreciated. My name has been System Z. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you in the next one.